My father was killed in 1940. He was shot by the Germans in 1940 in ghetto.
Your mother was sent to Treblinka
Yes.
with your brother.
Yes.
Is that the last time you saw her?
Yes, it was in 1942. When they eliminated the ghetto, they finished the ghetto, the small ghetto in Częstochow. They were also sending people to Treblinka or other camps, and some people they took to work, and I succeeded to go with the group to work in a labor camp in Częstochow, at the town where we lived. There was an ammunition factory, and I worked in that factory.
You were how old by this time?
13. Well, we were living over there in the wooden shacks that were, people were laying one next to the other, really like sardines. And it wasn't, you didn't have hygiene because you didn't have where to take a shower, and we had over there lice and all kind of, it was, it's really hard to describe now after you live such a normal life, but it was terrible. And food, you didn't get too much food. You were getting a piece of bread and one small bowl of soup a day. In that camp in Częstochow, we had over there, I don't think he was a rabbi, but he was a very religious man, and he tried to teach people, especially youngsters, whatever he could. And he told us, you do every possible thing to survive and stay alive so that people once will know what happened here. Those was his words that I remember till today. You were always questioning, how can this possibly happen if you have a God? You did every possible thing just to stay alive. Sometimes if you were late for the count, you had to go to a special place where they were beating you as a punishment for being late. So one of those days he said that the Germans that was beating, and I was over there a few times, so he remembered me. He says, well, today you will do the beating. And he gave me that stick, and there were other people with me that were also late, and they had to lay down, and I had to beat them with that. It was like a baseball bat, something like this. And the other people were happy that I am beating them because I wasn't as strong as the German. So I was beating, and he told me, stronger, I couldn't beat them stronger. At the end, he said, well, now I will show you how you are supposed to beat somebody. And I had to lay down, and he beat me as long as I just passed out. They sent me from that camp when the Russians were coming closer to the town where we were in. They sent me back out to Buchenwald. It was a trip in a cattle car, about 100 people. We were about 100 people in one car. And the trip was about, I don't remember, 4 or 5 days from Poland to Buchenwald to Germany. It was in January, it was cold. And from the day they closed the door of the car, they didn't open until we got to Buchenwald. When I left Poland to Buchenwald on the train, I had a piece of bread with me that I had in my pocket. And because we didn't get no food on the way, so each night I doing it at night because I was afraid that somebody will know that I have a piece of bread and will take it away from me. So each time at night I was breaking a small piece of bread and eating just to stay alive. To drink water or something, we were scraping snow from the roof of the car and melting it into the water. In Buchenwald, it was already towards the end of the war. They were supposed to ship us to another factory that was making ammunition, but they didn't have enough trains. So we're just in Buchenwald. Most of what we did, we were standing in the cold, as I told you. They waited for people to die. and that a lot of people died over there, just from cold and from they didn't have enough food. When we were in Buchenwald, we heard, the bombing, that the planes were bombing each time closer and closer to our area. And then it was on April 11, 1945, we suddenly came out and we didn't see the Germans anymore in the towers, in the watchtowers. We didn't see Germans. And we climbed on the roof of that wooden barracks that we were living in, and we saw American tanks coming from both sides of Buchenwald. And that's how we were liberated. I knew that my brother, the other brother that was left in Poland, I knew that he wasn't shipped, that he was left over there. So I was thinking about going back to Poland to look for him. He decided he would go looking for me in Germany. And I wanted to go look for him in Poland. And it was just a certain amount of people that could be on that bus. And I was already on that bus. And then came over there a woman, a Polish woman. She said she has to go to Poland because she heard her son is injured and sick, and she has to go to Poland. She won't move. She stood in front of the bus. She said she won't move from the bus. She has to go. Well, what did they do? They took the youngest person, which was me, and they said, well, you will go with the next bus, which will be in a couple of days. And they took me off of that bus, and that woman went on, and they left. A day after that, my brother arrived in Buchenwald to look for me.
I think that the worst thing that they did, they took their dignity, because you were nothing. Means if you were going in the street and if a German wanted to kill you, he would kill you. If he wanted to hit you, he would hit you, You were nothing.
I would like nobody to forget it happened. This is number one. And then, of course, do every possible thing that won't happen again to nobody, not only Jewish people, to anybody else on the world. Because this is something that is so unnatural.